Greetings everybody, it is the Doctor. Today I have another ship to introduce to you and review. This ship is not new to Star Trek Online. It has in fact been in this game since February of 2011. It is an older ship in the game, one of the first that was made unique in the game. And I am only showing it to you now, and I maybe should have done it sooner because it is one of the oldest custom ships in the game. This is a science vessel, and it is the Vulcan, the only Vulcan ship in the game, the Vulcan D'kyr. That is D''Kyr, the Vulcan D'kyr. So where can you get the Vulcan D'kyr if you are interested in it? It is a science vessel. You can get it from the C-Store, Federation class, and somewhere down here it will be. Probably toward the bottom for me since I already have it purchased. In fact, at the very bottom. But this is it. This is the Vulcan D'kyr. It is, again, the only Vulcan ship in the game that you can fly. It is a science vessel, but it's more of like a science cruiser, although it definitely fits the role of a science officer in the game by having a commander science station and only 3 fore and aft weapons. And I wish there were more Vulcan ships. We really need more Vulcan ships. In fact, this one is based on an old Vulcan design, as you can see, read there, from the 22nd century. Enterprise, the original series Enterprise era Vulcan ship, not even a current 24th or 25th century Vulcan ship. So we really need more Vulcan ships. Why am I showing this to you today? Well, this ship is going to get a little bit of love, quote, love, in Delta Rising. When Delta Rising releases, there will be some kind of update to this ship. And this is just another ship that I have not shown to you guys or reviewed or looked at in a very long time. I purchased this ship in 2011 when it first came out, and I flew it for a little while, but then I moved on from it. And I think most who have flown this ship have done the same. They wanted it to be a good ship, but it just never has been a good ship in the game. There's a reason why you do not see a lot of Vulcan D'kyrs being flown in Star Trek Online. It is not that great of a ship. As far as science ships go, there are a lot better science ships. So knowing that this ship is going to get a little bit of a bump or love in Delta Rising makes me want to look at it again now and then compare it to whatever it's going to be upgraded to in Delta Rising, and then see if it'll be worth playing or using as a ship after Delta Rising. So I'm not going to do all the typical usual videos that I do for a starship. I'm only going to do this one introductory video on the Vulcan D'kyr right now, knowing that it will be changed or updated after Delta Rising. So after Delta Rising, I will then look at the ship again, and then I'll do a full series of review on it. We'll do the Borg Elite SDFs, the Undine Battle Zone, just like I do on all the other ships. But for this one right now, I'm just going to do an intro video, show you what the ship is all about, go over the specs. We'll look at it in space, we'll see how I've built it, and we will go do a couple of battles in Taldewa at the end, so stay tuned for that. Going to do some different systems this time, as per suggestions from the comments. So we will take a look at this ship in combat. I'm just not going to do the whole Borg stuff on it and all that until after Delta Rising, and then we can compare the differences that are made. I don't know what those differences are. I've heard rumor in the forums, or somebody told me somewhere, that it's going to get another science console. Other than that, I don't know, and I don't even know if that is true, so we'll wait and see. But anyway, this ship was released, like I said, back in February of 2011. That is when it became available in the C-Store for 2,000 Zen. And I don't know what the current price of it is because I already own it. But it was 2,000 C-Store credits back then, and yeah. You can see it's got a very good looking profile to it. I like the looks of the ship. I mean, it looks really unique. It's a Vulcan ship. It's just not very good. So I'm reading this from another web page over here. A flagship of the Vulcan fleet So this was a flagship of the Vulcan fleet in the 22nd century. The D'kyr has been in a continual service since the 22nd century. It has seen use as a combat cruiser, a planetary defense ship, an exploration vessel, and a rescue ship, and has been refit as a science vessel in the 25th century. So it originated from the 22nd century, and it's been used as a cruiser, so it does have cruiser origins to it, but it's been refit for the 25th century as a science vessel. Along with subsystem targeting and the sensor analysis ability, the D'kyr has an integrated power that allows you to launch a D'kyr support craft. This support craft will follow you by default, but if you launch the support craft while you have an ally targeted, it will follow and support that ally. The main function of the auxiliary craft is support. It will repair you and your allies' shields and hull. So, you also, when you purchase the ship, you also get the D'kyr support craft as a playable small craft, or a shuttle, basically, in the game. So you also have the access to that when you get the ship. And that's its special ability. That's all that it has. That's all that it can do. It's a science ship with a little bitty support craft that can heal your shield and hull. And otherwise, it will fire these little plasma things on the enemy, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's really more of a support craft. So that's it. That's its special ability. That's all it has. And you can see all the stats here. I'm going to read from another web page. This goes into a little bit more detail. This is from the STO wiki, I believe. The D'kyr Science Vessel is an Admiral Tier 5 level Federation science vessel. This Vulcan design has been in continual use. Okay, we read all that. Let's skip down to where we haven't read. Acting as a rear admiral lower half version of the Intrepid class, this ship falls behind most other vessels of its rank. Despite its abundance of science abilities, the ship becomes immediately replaced by the Tier 5 long-range science vessel retrofit at level 50. Also, science or engineering captains should consider the advanced research vessel retrofit Nebula class as an alternative, because instead of a lieutenant science bridge officer slot, it has lieutenant universal slot, which makes the ship more versatile. But losing 1 degree in turn rate at that cost and gaining 1,500 hull points more and 450 more crew. So you see, it's just not a good ship. Even the STO wiki recommends you use the Nebula or, something else. I mean, come on. When you have the STO wiki itself recommending a different ship than this one, I mean, that tells you something. Abilities. Basically the support craft, that's its basic ability. Of course, it's got sensor analysis because that's part of the science ability, but yes, it's that support craft. So here's the stats on it: crew of 300, 3 fore and 3 aft weapons, so it's typical. That's typical for a science vessel. 3 device slots, 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 lieutenant commander engineering, 1 ensign science, 1 lieutenant science, 1 commander science. So it is a full science ship in that term that you can use your bridge officer abilities. 3 engineering slots, 2 tactical and 4 science. 10 degrees per second, 30,000 hull, plus 15 power to auxiliary, because it's a science ship, it's going to need that auxiliary power. The D'kyr support craft, the subsystem targeting and sensor analysis. And then, of course, you do get the D'kyr support craft as a shuttle that you can actually fly as well. And there's the stats on that. It's basically just a little shuttle. Not really worth it, to be honest with you. I tried flying it, but it's kind of flimsy. So that's it. So I'm hoping that in Delta Rising, this ship gets a lot of love, because it needs a lot of love to make it a useful ship. But let's take a look at how I've built this ship right now. I am using a Nukara build for this ship. It's the same build that I used on the Orb Weaver. And the main reasoning for that is because my science abilities complement the Nukara abilities, especially using the Tetrion energy type weapons, because what I'm going for with this ship is not Gravity Well, not Tychon's Rift, nothing like that. I'm going with what I did on the Orb Weaver. I'm going with shield draining abilities as a science officer on this particular ship. So Tetrion weapons complement that, and to get the most or best out of Tetrion weapons, you want to go with the N'Kara set, all of it, because it has special tetryon abilities, refracting tetryon abilities, and all this stuff. In fact, I could go further, which I haven't done on this ship, and get the refracting tetryon weapons and all that stuff in the store. If you go to the N'Kara store here, these are what I don't have, but you can get refracting tetryon beams. Right now I'm using fleet beams, but these are refracting tetryon beams. And it says here, refracting tetryon space weapons utilize new technology that allows tetryon weapons to both damage shields and refract to a nearby target. They have a chance to apply a shield damage effect and a chance to refract off your chosen target and strike a nearby target. And that is complementary to the abilities of the N'Kara set. A lot of the N'Kara set has these refracting abilities to it. For example, unstable tetryon lattice is basically a refracting tetryon thing. Targets your foes, and then it jumps to other targets, and does damage to other targets. So if you have this ability plus refracting tetryon beams in the first place, you're going to get a lot more, I guess, refraction. Just more refracting. That's the word of the day, refracting. As for the other parts of it, the set 3 bonus to one of the sets called the appropriated munitions is this upgrading your dual beam banks special firing modes, and they will overload and hit additional targets, again refracting to other targets. So this refracting ability is seen both in the appropriated munitions, which is the web mines, plus the dual refracting tetryon beam bank, plus the console, the N'Kara particle converter. All of those combined give you that refracting ability. And then you have the deflector, impulse, and shield set, which gives you that refracting lattice ability. So all of this is about refracting tetryons. So if you can get those refracting beams as well, that'll just add to the whole thing. And it really complements each other, all these tetryon beams with refracting and all that. However, for this specific build, I am actually using advanced fleet tetryon beams. These are not the refracting tetryon beams. I need to try that build. I guess I only need to purchase 2 of them, but I don't have that yet. What I'll do is maybe on when Delta Rising comes out, by that time I'll get some refracting tetryon beams, and I'll use those instead and see if there's any difference. But right now I'm using advanced fleet tetryon beams just because they do more damage. Damage times 2, accuracy times 2 are the modifiers. You get more modifiers off of fleet weapons than you do the store N'Kara weapons. But I've got, that's what I'm using right now, just to get more damage, because believe me, on a science ship, on a science character, you need all the damage you can do, because you really don't do a lot, and this ship is a really bad ship. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not a good ship. So that's what I'm using, two beams, and then I'm using the N'Kara Hyper Dual Refracting Tetryon Beam Bank from the N'Kara gear. I went ahead and I'm using a Gravimetric Photon Torpedo. This is from the Dyson gear, but it's a nice torpedo, so I thought, hey, why not? I like a torpedo. It fires pretty fast, has good abilities, does good damage, so I like that torpedo. And then I am using the N'Kara Web Mine plus the N'Kara Particle Converter console to get the whole N'Kara appropriated munitions. Now, I've talked all about these abilities already on the Orb Weaver video, so if you want to see, go into detail about all of these things, you can watch my Orb Weaver video, and that will definitely go into all that. This is just, I basically just put these things on this ship to try to get the most out of it. Of course, I've got kinetic cutting beam. I'm using the N'Kara deflector, impulse, and shields. Totally changes the look of the ship, but I guess it makes it look better. I've got 2 shield capacity things here. I am using the universal hydrodynamics compensator. This is from the Undine reputation. I put this on here just because it increases my engine power and auxiliary power, and auxiliary power is very important for a science ship. It also improves my weapon accuracy, which is going to be important because I don't do a lot of damage anyway as a science character, but improving my accuracy can definitely help. Then I'm using 2 consoles down here to buff the Tetryon damage, and I got one that's doing critical severity and one that's increasing my critical chance. And that's it. That's all I can do on this ship. That's all I have. As for my stations, remember it does have a commander science station because it's a science ship. So I'm able to use, I'm using that position for energy siphon 3 to siphon energy from other ships. And then I'm also using tachyon beam 3. I'm able to have 2 tier 3 basically energy sucking, shield sucking abilities at their max tier 3 ability, which is really nice. So energy siphon 3, tachyon beam 3, tractor beam just to hold them in place, polarized hull, hazard emitters 1, science team 2, transfer shield strength. You'll notice I have a lot of science stations on this ship, so it is good in that sense. It's good that this ship does have a lot of science bridge officer stations, but I'm only limited to 2 tactical. So I'm using that for beam fire at will 2 and tactical team 1, and that's all the tactical abilities I can have. So as a ship to do damage with, not so good. As a ship that if you want a lot of science powers with, yeah, it's pretty good. And then we have 3 positions here for engineering. I'm using directed energy modulation to help me penetrate their shields, because again, I'm all about getting through the shields with this ship, draining energy, draining shields. And then I have to heal myself, engineering team 2, and then just to give me more DPS, more weapon power in space, emergency power weapons 1. So that's my layout for this ship. Is it the best thing you could do? Obviously no, you could go different ways. I could have switched this. See, I've got gravity well 3 over here. I could have used those abilities instead of, you know, energy siphon and tachyon beam and all that. So there's different ways you can go with it. But that's really it. There's no like special console. I know everybody's used to seeing like on these special C-store ships a console ability. You know, that's part of the ship. The only thing that makes it cool is that support craft, and it really, other than keeping you healed up a lot, it really doesn't help. I mean, there are times when I will have it out there and it will help me, but the enemy can fire on it too, and it can go down pretty fast. So, not a huge help. But let's take a look at this in space, and you'll see what we have here. So let me turn off the shield visuals, because right now it's got the N'Kara shield visuals on, and this way we can see what it looks like natively. This is what it looks like. It's brown, so it's differently colored than Federation or Starfleet ships. It's very rounded. It's got this big round ring in the center. I like that. So as far as you know, the looks of it, I think it's a very sexy looking ship. I mean, it's a very nice looking ship. I just wish it performed better. But you can see it turns pretty well. A science ship usually turns better than a cruiser anyway, so I'm able to turn around pretty well, use that dual beam bank up front. Turn rate's not terrible on it. It moves well. I really have no problem with the movement or the looks of the ship. It's just that it's not powerful enough. You'll see my weapon power is at 118. My shield power is really high at 97, 50 there, but my auxiliary power is almost 70. I was trying to get that higher if I could. Science ship like this, all about the auxiliary power. Let's look at the stats real quick. 300 crew complement, 50% a minute crew recovery rate right now, 190% power transfer rate, 42,594 hull. So that's actually not a terrible hull strength. Obviously there are cruisers that can go up to now 60 to 70,000, you know, hull. But for a science ship, that's not a terrible hull. That's actually a really good hull. I've seen a lot worse. So that's not bad. My shield strength is at 15.9, almost 16,000. And that's because this N'Kara shield is actually not terrible. It's got a pretty good shield capacity on it. N'Kara Crystalline Resilient Shield, even though it's a resilient shield, it has a very high shield capacity. And it's got that 5% absorption, 5% bleed through. So it's even better than like a covariant shield in those terms. So that's pretty nice. So that's good. And then my resists are at 33%. Attack got a 67% crit severity, 9% crit chance, bonus accuracy of 27.6. Movement, when I go to impulse, remember the default movement was 10 degrees per second, and mine's buffed right now to 17.3. So that's one reason why I'm turning really fast, is that is really buffed from the default. But that's what I'm running. That's what I got. So let's get out of the shadow of ESD here and show you the support craft. So really all my abilities are just the N'Kara based abilities. Here's the unstable Tetryon Lattice. Here's my other N'Kara ability, Refracting Tetryon Cascade. Here's my Bridge Officer abilities, Energy Siphon 3, Tachyon Beam 3. So really the only special ability this ship has is this button right here, the Launched Support Craft. And it also reduces the crew capacity of my ship to 275 when I do that. I just noticed that. So we'll launch it, and it has a cool animation for that. Get to where we can actually see it. Here we go. That comes down, that thing pops out, and there we go. And there it is, my little support craft. I like the animations, they're pretty nice. I wish the ring would stay down though when the support craft is out. I kind of like the idea of flying this ship with the ring down. I think that looks even cooler if that's possible. This little thing here has 18,511 hull. And again, this is not going to do anything unless we're in combat. But if we were in combat right now and I was like taking damage to my shields or my hull, it would start doing transfers, like SIF transfers and other transfers to my ship to keep me healed up. It's also capable of firing on the enemy. It fires these little plasma bolts, but they do absolutely no damage to the enemy. So it's really not useful for doing damage. It's really useful for just healing, keeping me healed. And that's it. That's its only usefulness, and that's its only special ability. Call it back home. And it has a 2-minute cooldown time. That's pretty long. And that's it. So those are the special abilities of the Vulcan D'kyr. I don't think there's a unique bridge either for this ship. So I don't think I need to show you that. I'm just going to go real quick and check the customize settings, see if there's any other options you can customize the ship to look like. But I don't think so.
Starfleet welcomes its allies from the Romulan Republic to Earth Space.
We really don't have a lot of customization options on this ship. No, that's the shuttle. Well, that's not the shuttle I have going anyway, never mind. Customize starship, there we go. So, as far as the interior goes, yeah, there is no custom bridge for it. So you have just, yeah, I guess you would get the origin bridge probably, or standard or whatever. So there is no Vulcan bridge, and that's a little, I wish there was. I wish there was a bridge. But there's not. As for what else we can do with the ship, there's only one material, so you can't change the material. So that sucks. There's only one type of window. You can't change the windows. There's no styles you can change. Hull, warp array, support ship, none of that. All you can do is add a pattern to it, and even then it barely shows up on the ship, as you can see. So, really there's no customization on this ship is what I'm saying. So there you go. Not very exciting. And as the only Vulcan ship in the game, It's a very underwhelming, very unexciting ship. This needs more than some love in Delta Rising. This needs a lot of love in Delta Rising. Because this thing just, it has the potential to be so much better. And we want Vulcan ships in this game. I mean, I know everybody would want that. We want more Vulcan ships. Some versatile Vulcan ships would be really nice to have. Like a cruiser, an escort, and a science ship. We need a whole pack of Vulcan ships. And this one just don't cut the mustard. So what I'm going to go do right now is I'm going to take this into combat. And I'll show you the support craft ability. And that's really it. That's its unique ability. Otherwise, everything else is just standard science fair abilities that you can have on any other ship.
Jolan true. We will build and secure it. We must.
Why is my menu down here? That's weird. What is going on with all my windows? Huh. Okay. So out of feedback, thank you all for the feedback on giving me some suggestions of other systems I could use in Taladewa. Before I was using the Koraya and Japori system. Out of feedback, and I tested this earlier, I'm now going to use the Narendra system and the Archer system. Narendra is the Hirogen, so that's going to give our ship a lot of challenge there, or challenge for our ship. And then the Archer system are the Tholians, so that will be a challenge for us as well. That'll be a little bit better than the Romulans and the whatever other enemy I was using before. This will be a little bit better, a little more intense, which is good. So what I'll do is, first thing I'll do is I'll launch the support craft, and you can see that it will follow me and it will heal me, and that's about it.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
It is firing. See the little bolts it fires? They don't do anything. Now it's transferring to me. See? It is doing something.
Target's shields have failed.
But it's transferring, I think it's transferring shields to me right now.
Target's shields have failed.
It's damaged, as you can see. Now it's doing this transfer to me. That is the SIF transfer I was talking about. So you can see how it keeps me healed while I'm fighting. Got a battleship here.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target shields have failed.
There we go. So that's pretty cool. Now where's my support craft at? I think it got blown up. Yep. See, it can get damaged quite a bit, and once it gets to a certain level, it stops becoming useful. It's not useful to me at all anymore, even though it's at 13%. I can't do anything with it anymore except call it home. I might be able to heal it, but that's it. That's what it does, is it keeps me healed. See, this is how I'd like to fly this ship with the rings down. That would look really cool. Well, that's it. That's the unique abilities of the of the D'kyr. Again, it looks awesome. It needs to be a little more powerful. It's just not powerful enough, and it needs more special abilities. That one ability is just not enough. Let's do one more system. We'll do the Archer system. This is the Tholians. Again, this will just we'll just do this again. We'll launch the support craft when we can, and that's it. Everything else, remember, is not special. There's just my science abilities that I'm using, which I could use on any science ship, and I can use the Nukara set on any science ship. So all of that stuff, you know, is ancillary to the ship. It's like, that's just, you could get that anywhere. So really the only specialty this ship has, the only special reason to fly it, is for the support craft. So I don't know if that's a good enough reason to spend 2,000 Zen on a ship just to have that support craft. Although it does become a shuttle you can use. You can fly it as a shuttle in shuttle missions. So there's that advantage, I guess. I guess that's one of the advantages, is you get basically you get a free shuttle with the ship. I'll show that to you after this.
Ship is under attack. Target shields have failed.
There it is, healing my shields again. There you go. Where's my... There it is. Hey, he survived this time. 70% damage. And we can call it back home. I said call it back home. It's doing the noise, but there it is. It's not doing the animation. That's weird. It's bugged out on me. That's funny, it's completely bugged out now. There you go, Cryptic. I found a bug. That's funny. I've never seen it do that before. Huh. Oh well. If you want to see what damage I was doing there, really not too great on everything. I don't know why that's highlighted like that. Oh, it's because it's a mine. No, that's the mine. I don't know why it's like that. That's weird. I've never seen it do that before. Well, anyway, the Tetryon array is 804 DPS, 1000 Tetryon damage, so it's not a whole lot. The dual beam one is 1000 DPS, 1259 Tetryon, so that's a lot better. The web mines, this one should be the same as the other one. And the kinetic cutting beam, 1000, and then 1293 kinetic damage. And that's all I got. So there you go, everybody. That's the Vulcan D'kyr with the little sidecar here, the D'kyr support craft. And that's pretty much all I want to do with this ship right now. No point in doing the Borg STFs with it or anything else, because it's just all going to be the same. The only benefit, the only special ability the ship has is the support craft, and all it does is heal you. So there's just not a lot to show with this ship. I'm hoping that after Delta Rising, the ship will be more useful. Again, I said at the beginning of the video, there's a reason you don't see a lot of Vulcan D'kyrs out there flying around. It's just, there's a lot better science vessels. Even STO Wiki recommends a Nebula or the Intrepid over this ship. So there's just not a lot. It just doesn't have a lot going for it. And unfortunately, it's also the only Vulcan ship. Come on, Cryptic. We need a package. I mean, they've given us all these great ships now. We got these ugly tier 6 ships coming, but we don't have Any Vulcan ships? I mean, the Vulcans were like the first alien species we ever met. We should have like a pack of Vulcan ships. That should be like a thing, right? I want more Vulcan ships. I'm also looking forward to any of the changes that come to the D'kyr after Delta Rising. So after Delta Rising, I'll do a full review on the ship, and we'll look at it again and see if the improvements made were worth it or not. So I do appreciate everybody watching, letting me know what you think of this ship. If you fly it, let me know, you know, if you enjoy it, if you use it, or if you're thinking of using it, or if you've ever thought of using it, or maybe you never even knew it existed. And a lot of people probably don't even know it exists because it's just not that useful of a ship. I know, I'm sorry, my review is not very glowing of the ship. I wish it could be. I want it to be. I want some awesome Vulcan ships. This one is just not it, guys. Sorry. I wish it was. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.